We're taught from a young age to recycle our used aluminum, discarded paper, and emptied plastic bottles.
Each night at the Englert Theater in downtown Iowa City, the concession staff empties and recycles all used cans and bottles.
Some are placed back in the packaging box and sent back to the distributor to be recycled.
Other bottles people smuggled in and are left behind are recycled by the theater.
In the U.S., we recycle 89% of our newspapers and 45% of aluminum cans.
Over 56% of paper consumed in the United States in 2007 was recovered for recycling, setting a new recycling record. That's almost 360 pounds of paper for every person in America.
It is apparent that we know to recycle all our empty pop cans and bottles, but e-recycling is a lesser-known environmental necessity. The way technology is constantly updating itself, consumers are buying new models and discarding their old computers, televisions, and appliances, even if they still work. On its face, e-recycling is a noble cause, but what people don't know is that their e-waste is sometimes brought to impoverished parts of the world where it inadvertently pollutes the environment.
There are some local initiatives dedicated towards facilitating an easy and cheap way to conserve the environment and put those old electronics to use.
The problem with recycling computers is that microchips are made with hazardous chemicals, and they're soldered onto the motherboard, and solder has a lot of lead in it. And in order to get the precious metals out of the boards that are in the chips, they use acid baths, which is quite dangerous to be around.
People talk about computer dumping in developing countries, and this certainly happens and is atrocious, where people will just pile computers willy-nilly onto ships, take them overseas and dump them, and have people, poor people are tearing them apart and getting exposed to the chemicals and all that kind of stuff, trying to salvage stuff.
Cliff Misson is the director of the WiderNet Project, an initiative at the University of Iowa that goes beyond keeping your old computer out of the landfill by benefiting those who live without such technology.
This isn't a salvage operation. These are good, working, functioning computers with good training that goes with them. These are computers that, in many American corporations, they're running Pentium 3s and Pentium 4s and for years and years and years. So these are really good, functioning computers. And so our emphasis is on taking these things out of what would be the waste stream and making them useful for another 5-10 years.
Matt Neely worked for University Surplus before becoming a computer technician for the WiderNet Project.
Donations from private individuals, corporations, and university departments, and we send computers to Africa to be used. And before we send them there, we responsibly wipe the hard drives with the kill disk program, and we check the computers to make sure that they're functional. The very little bit that we don't use, we send to University Surplus, and they responsibly recycle the materials locally. Africa is a complex thing when it comes to recycling, because many corporations and countries send e-waste to Africa, and it's a giant dump. And they have unhealthy living conditions in many places in Africa. And so here we're trying to make sure that we don't send anything to Africa to be recycled. We send it there to set up classrooms so that they can be educated on various topics.
The WiderNet Project has been accepting computer donations for about 5 years. They send about 300 computers a year and have sent about 1,200 so far.
Another thing that's not talked about in the whole being green and recycling is the environmental cost of manufacturing a computer. Just to make the metal case, you need metalworking equipment, and the foundry's in there somewhere. Whereas, so if people in Africa are using a used computer, you don't have that environmental cost. Same thing with driving a used car as opposed to buying a new one.
The goal in that donation program is simply to scale this impact. There's a lot of universities over there with 20,000, 25,000 students, almost as big as the University of Iowa, but they have 100 computers. And if people are going to start using this technology and have access to information, they need thousands of computers on their campus, and they simply can't afford to buy all new. So the idea here is, these computers, which have a good 5 to 10 years of life left in them, we get them over there. We train people. It's the most important thing. Train people how to set them up and how to support them, and then they have that many more people who can use these tools. Computers are donated for free. The volunteers do all the refurbishment for free. We load the cargo container. Volunteers here. So the only cost is really the shipping. And shipping is usually between $6,000 and $8,000 to send 300 computers. So they're paying about $25 a computer to get these set up, and it makes a big difference.
When WiderNet ships these computers to Africa and India, the volunteers pad the boxes with thousands of books and include all the parts people might need for the next 5 years.
The WiderNet Project is currently accepting Pentium 4 or better desktop computers and laptops, but not Apple or Macintosh, as it is difficult to find parts for these computers in the developing world. Most donations come from individuals, though some are donated by the university or companies that might bring as many as 100 computers.
We've had computers come in that are even better than the computers I have under my desk here in my office, right? There are a lot of people out there who just like to have the best, newest computer. Some of them need the best, newest computer. Some of them just want the best and newest computer. Some people have gone from using a desktop to using a laptop, so they bring their desktop in. So there's lots of reasons then.